welcome to Open for Business, CEO Style. This is the podcast where we fling open the doors to the world of business, doing it the CEO way. That means we're here for the women who hustle, the dreamers who build, and the leaders who are ready to rewrite the rule book. I'm your host, Toby Farrell, and I am the owner and CEO of Toby Farrell and Associates, and I'm here to be your guide, cheerleader, and your business bestie. So grab your coffee, your laptop, or your favorite pair of power sneakers, because in this corner of the internet, we're getting open for business, CEO style. Hello and welcome to Open for Business CEO Style. I am Toby Farrell, your certified entrepreneur and business coach. From startup to scaled success, I help women entrepreneurs grow businesses they love. Joining me today is, I'm just so excited. I am so excited. I had to pay her $5 to do this. No, not really.
So, I thought it was a bottle of tequila.
A bottle of tequila, maybe. When you're allowed to drink again, I will give you a bottle of tequila.
Okay.
So joining me today is my very, 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 very dear friend, mentor, and my coach of all things coachable, except me, is, drum roll, Mary Anne Cipressy. Woo!
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction.
You are very welcome. So Mary Anne is the CEO and owner of What's Up Southwest Florida and Teach Me Social, otherwise known in these parts as the queen of social media. I'm a little disappointed she didn't wear her hat that says that, but I love the glitz, darling. I love the glitz. So let's welcome Mary Anne. And how are you doing this great day?
I am doing just wonderful. It's the middle of the week. So that's always the fun time. You got 2 days behind you, 2 days to go till the weekend. So one of my favorite days.
Wednesday is a great day to have a day.
Yes, it is.
Very good. So Mary Anne and I have a short but deep relationship. We became fast friends, faster than Fast and Furious 1000. And so we're going to try not to have any like inside jokes come out or anything like that, but I cannot promise you that will not happen. But let me introduce you to my other friends who is nameless at the moment. But if you have any suggestions from a name, I just want you to tell me what you think it should be. But I am from New Jersey and I moved to Florida. And I didn't move to Boca because I needed to be not with my own clients anymore. I needed to move to Southwest Florida where there's not a lot of me around. So this way I can remain as special and as queen-like as possible. But my friend Mary Anne, she also has a friend and her name is Sophie. So when Sophie and Mary Anne started, they absolutely knew nothing about what it takes to start a business. Oh my goodness.
Darling, I knew nothing. I was in the medical profession for 27 years. Didn't know a darn thing about business. All I knew is I wanted to own my own business. That is all I knew.
Oh, you wanted to own your own business. That is such a marvelous thing, darling. That is a marvelous thing, darling.
Well, thank you.
And your background, I understand, is in medical?
Darling, you're not going to believe this. I was a physical therapy assistant for 27 years. I know I look young. It's not possible, but it is.
Oy vey. I can't even see blood. I can't even put a Band-Aid on my own finger because I would like pass out. But oh my goodness, I can't believe you did that. That is absolutely amazing. So but I also know maybe not so much with Sophie, but maybe more so with Mary Anne. She is a proud member of the Buffalo Bills Mafia.
I have been a mafia member before there was even the mafia.
Wow. Well, that's because you're
I've been a fan since about 1989, 1990, somewhere in there.
Very cool. Well, thank you for indulging me, Sophie. And that we always like to do that. That's what
you got to have fun. That is my motto. You got to have fun with everything you do. So
we're going to make this fun. Religion. It's great. So let's get started. So let's start off. So let me just first say this. So Mary Anne is all about social media, websites, marketing plans, marketing coaching, anything and everything you want to know about marketing in a digital environment. Mary Anne is the lady to go to. But let's talk a little bit before we get into the deep delve of marketing and social media and what struggles on startup entrepreneurs have and other business owners have. Talk to me about this person, Sir Winston.
Oh, Sir Winston. And I wish I had remembered to bring him. Oh, there he is. Good girl. That's Sir Winston. So about a year ago, actually, he's 1 year old. In last month, he was a year old. So, you have to, sometimes one of the things you do in marketing is have promo products. And I'm a believer, if you're going to do something with promo products, aside from pens, you want to give something that people are not going to throw away and that they will use. So I'm not sure what you use the duck for, but it is certainly memorable. And so, because I like to tell stories in marketing, I gave Sir Winston a persona. So Sir Winston is a little bit of a troublemaker. He's a little sarcastic, loves the ladies, loves to meet famous people, and he likes to have adventures.
Wow.
And so, he's got girlfriends. And so I created this whole persona and storyline around my promotional product. And so people now start to look forward to his next adventure.
That is so cool. So, okay. So I know that you commented, you don't know what other people would use Sir Winston for as a promotional product, but you definitely do. And you blew it out of the water. Let me tell you this. I mean, Sir Winston has gone viral. And the things that Sir Winston does is a little shocking to be honest with you, but what a lot of fun. What a lot of fun. And another way that I have seen people who have Sir Winston's get in on the fun by sharing their own shenanigan photos.
Yes, and that's called user-generated content.
User-generated content we love.
Yeah.
We love. Very cool. Very cool. So can you tell me about so let's Sir Winston, what was one of the highest viewed posts that he has had?
I would say, though, probably during the holiday times is probably when he got his most views, because he has shenanigans with Tony the Italian elf.
Oh, Tony!
Tony the Italian elf. But it's not Elf on the Shelf because, what's up, Southwest? What do we do not do things the way everybody else does. So you have to make it a little more fun. So I gave the elf a personality, which is very much like Sir Winston's, only he's Tony the Italian elf. So they would have all these drunken, I'll be honest, adventures throughout the building where my office is, getting into all sorts of trouble. So that I would say that storyline was the most viewed.
Very cool. Very cool. And why is this storyline, the storyline of Sir Winston, how does that help your brand? How does that help you in business by having a mascot, for lack of better words, of Sir Winston?
Well, it makes you memorable. That's really the big thing. So, you got to set yourself apart from others who do the same thing that you do. Mm-hmm. But you also have to create content that your target audience is interested in. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you have to add the quirky little fun to it. And it makes you memorable, get you more reach, more engagement, more likely people will do business with you if that kind of thing resonates with them.
Sure, right. You're not, I mean, every business is not going to resonate with every person. So.
Oh, exactly. And I don't expect it to. Right. And if you're having fun, you're having fun.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's get down and dirty into some business here, right? Okay. So, the audience here is filled of female entrepreneur and business owners. It's comprised of both startup and existing and scaling. Let's talk a little bit about some challenges. What kind of challenges in social media or websites in your wheelhouse let's break it down into the two categories. Let's
Okay.
talk startup challenges.
Okay.
What kind of challenges do they have, and what tips do you recommend to help them?
So what I've kind of noticed with a lot of startups, they get into business for the love or the passion of whatever their business is. That's what they're focused on. That's what they put their attention on. That's where they put their resources.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what they should do. However, they tend to forget once they have done all that, now they have to go and get clients or customers. And what they don't prepare for is the marketing end of it. So, they have X amount of dollars to work with. They throw all their resources into getting their business up off the ground. And then when it comes to marketing, they don't know what to do.
Okay.
That's a lot of what I have seen in this market here,
Okay.
especially with solopreneurs starting a business.
Right. So when you talk about marketing, give us a brief example of or description, explanation of what marketing is, because there's a lot of misconceptions about marketing is also sales and sales is also marketing. And we both know that that is not true. So
no, it's
go
not.
a little deeper into when you say they don't have marketing, really, what is it that they don't have?
So what they don't have is awareness. They don't have any plan or strategy to make and reach their potential target audience.
Got it. Yes.
So I look at it as marketing paves the way for sales. People have to know you exist. They have to know your story. They have to know what you have to offer. They have to know what problems you solve for them and why you do it differently or better than anybody else.
Right.
And you got to build that know, like, and trust factor. There's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it.
And a marketing plan such as that is extremely helpful. Extremely helpful.
Yes, it is.
I mean, we talk about plans all the time. I mean, you said this in one of your last videos a while ago. You plan for your wedding, you may plan for your death, your funeral, your will, whatever. You plan when you buy a house, you plan when you build a house. You have all these plans, but both business plans, which I see within my own clients, business plans, marketing plans, they fall by the wayside. It's just more of a reactive state of mind. Business owners just go forward in just being more reactive than proactive, and have no idea where they're going, have no idea where they even are at to even know where to start.
There's a difference between creating a business, and I found this out the hard way, and creating a job for yourself. And most people, when they start a business, really what they have done is created a job for themselves.
That is absolutely correct.
And like I said, I learned the hard way because, as I said, I knew nothing about business.
Right.
Right. So, you kind of learn the hard way. And one of the key indicators, or so I am told, whether it's a business or a job for yourself, is if it can be sold to somebody else. So when you start a business, you got to think of the end in mind. Knew nothing about that. Knew nothing about an exit strategy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The exit strategy is not necessarily picking out the coffin that you want with your children.
I have one now.
Right. An exit strategy, not a coffin, I hope, right?
Right, yes.
Nobody wants a coffin right now. We're all too
No.
So what could someone do? What could a new startup owner do to get them into a marketing plan?
So you got to do your research.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of free templates for a marketing plan if you're going to do this yourself. But first of all, you really need a business plan. A marketing plan is a section of the business plan.
Yes, it is.
So you really should have a business plan.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll just focus on the marketing plan part for now.
Because this is your show.
Because that's what we're doing. But it is, I want people to know that it's part of the business plan.
Yes, it is. It absolutely
so
is.
You want to do your research. What your competitors are doing. Pricing is another part of the marketing plan. You got to have your goals. You got to identify your target audience. A lot of people don't misunderstand target audience, because I know you have heard this, Toby, when somebody goes, so who's your ideal customer? Well, anybody who owns a house, everybody who owns a house has air conditioning. No, that's not who your target is.
It makes me cringe. Makes me cringe.
Yes. So
Yeah.
you have to drill down as to exactly who will use your product or your service. So that's a key. And then you gotta have goals. I mean, how many times have we talked to business owners and they just want more sales?
Right.
Well,
Right.
more sales is kind of a given. What goals are you gonna have to achieve that more?
Sure. Sure. How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? Right. Right. And that's all comes back to the marketing plan of knowing your customer, who is your ideal target, customer, human, what, lots of words are passed
Right.
around these days to describe that. Pricing your product and service is so important. That's part of your marketing plan as well. Product and service placement. Where does it go? Where are you going to sell it? How are you going to sell it? These are all very important things.
And number one, gotta have a budget.
You gotta have a budget.
You got to,
Yeah,
when you
so
go
important.
when
So important.
you gotta have a budget.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just throwing money out the window, or you think that you don't have money and you don't do any marketing.
So that's where social media has come in, because there is a misconception that social media is free.
Yes, let's talk about that.
Yes, it is not free. The platforms may be free. Social media marketing is not free because you have to invest your time into it. A lot of business owners do not educate themselves. Years ago, when it was starting, it was great. It was a party. You could post, and your page would grow and everybody would see it. 90% of your followers would see it. You would get great interaction, but then the playground got a little full.
Right.
So as the playground kept getting fuller and fuller, they had to shift things. And then the whole industry had to shift with it. So now it is a whole thing. It is not easy to do. And unless you educate yourself, you're probably not going to be effective at it and achieve your goals using it.
Okay.
Because it's not easy anymore.
So let's talk about budgets, social media, startups.
Yeah.
So social media advertising. Should a startup invest money into ads, paid ads? And I'm talking social media platforms. I'm not including Google platform.
Right.
I'm
You're talking like
pure
Facebook
social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Not all of them. I'm not the social media expert. I don't know if all of them have paid per click options, but Facebook is the biggest one that comes to my mind. But what kind of budget should a financial budget, should a startup plan for that, or at all?
So I don't usually recommend a brand new business just getting started unless they have a lot of money behind them, which most don't.
Right.
As we said, are the ones we tend to work with are solopreneurs and limited budgets. I don't recommend that they start with ads right away.
Okay.
Because you got to build your page, you got to build your content, you've got to make all the adjustments in all of that, because it takes a while to find your voice as a business.
When you say adjustments, what are you referring to?
Your messaging. Businesses shift who their target audience is all the time.
Okay.
Especially when they're starting. You might think your target audience is maybe single women, but then you find out it's really moms.
Yeah.
Now that's a big, huge difference. So you don't want to invest in paid ads until you have everything kind of worked out. You got your pricing. If you're selling not e-commerce but selling services like ebooks and courses and things like that, you want to make sure you have the right ones for people. So, but what you really need to do in your startup is email. That's where you really need to start.
Okay. Is there a cost associated to email?
So email is probably one of the least costly ways to market, which is why, and it all just depends on what email marketing platform you're using.
Right. And the
But
size.
like, some of them can be as much as maybe $50 a month,
Mhm.
which when you think about it it's not bad,
Sure. In the
you
grand scheme
know?
of things. And why is email marketing so important at this stage, or at any stage? I mean, it's the same level of importance.
Okay, so it is your information, your people. You own it.
Right.
And when it has happened and people panic, Facebook has glitched and gone down. Well, when that happens, if it doesn't come back up, where's your business?
Right.
YouTube can kick you off. Facebook can kick you off. Then what happens? But
Right.
your email, that's yours.
That's yours. Right.
So your website and your email is yours.
Right.
So you use social media to build your email and traffic to your website.
Very good.
If that's okay. Can I tell you a story on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had this client. I still have her to this day. She's my very first client. This happened several years ago. And she called me because I want to show the power of what social media can really do.
Yeah.
Okay. And this was back when Twitter was Twitter.
Yep.
And before Twitter made a lot of its algorithm changes.
Mhm.
So Twitter back then was really good for driving traffic to a website. So she calls me one day and she goes, Mary Anne, you're not going to believe what happened. She goes, I just got a email from this lady who said that she has a son who is ill. And she was in a health food store and she was talking to the clerk in the health food store and was telling her about what was going on with her son and wanting supplements or whatever. But the clerk instead recommended that she reach out to my client for her mentoring services to help her.
Right.
So she was really excited about that. And then she says to me, but Mary Anne, do you know where this health food store was? Now, she's local, so I'm thinking it's, one of the local health food stores. So I said, well, it had to be such and such a store. And she's like, no. She goes, it was in England. In England.
Wow.
And he happened to have been a follower of hers on Twitter.
Amazing. And we're talking Southwest Florida is where we are both.
Yes.
Local. Yes.
Yeah.
Just for the context. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is, and from that, she has gotten other clients from her social media outside of the United States.
Right.
I believe one was Israel. I know of the one in Israel. And there have been other. Oh, Japan. She's got one in Japan now.
Wow. That is tremendous. Right. So social media is great because it brings the world closer to you.
Yes.
Right. It makes the world very small on the grand scale of things. Now that is an awesome
Now,
story.
mind you, I had been doing her 4 or 5 years before even any of that happened. So this is a long game, and I want people to really understand marketing long term.
Yes.
It's not going to get you people overnight. You're building a community, and you know how long it can take to build a community. You're building a city, basically.
Yes. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that story. That is powerful. I mean, listen, that lends a great applause in hand to your skills in doing social media for a small business owner.
And I miss the Twitter of old days like that.
Yeah. Now it's all.
Yeah. So I don't even use it anymore.
Yeah. I think a lot of businesses have shied away from Twitter, or now it's X, but that's all for a whole other episode and not on this channel.
Well, it's about where's your audience and what is the audience there.
Exactly.
The audience that used to be there for my products and services, and those are my clients, not there anymore.
Right. Well, that brings up a great topic for my next question is what are if you had to give, now I know this is going to be a little hard to answer because it depends on the business and their client, but in a generality, right, in a world of general, what are top 3 social media platforms that every startup should focus in on and why?
Okay, so it's a strategy and it's a process, and it just depends. So if you're in the trades, you're going to want to be more focused and put more resources into Google, because you got where are the people that are looking for you going to be at?
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean you don't maintain a presence elsewhere because people will check you out. But
Sure.
when it comes to monetary resources, you would want to work towards either SEO or Google Ads.
Okay.
And I say work to because you don't start there. You got to build your business to have enough income to warrant the cost because those get kind of expensive.
Got it. And that goes into your
Marketing
marketing budget.
yeah, and your budget.
And your budget.
So if you're a brick and mortar,
Mm-hmm.
depending on what you sell, you would look at Facebook or or Instagram.
Okay.
Especially Instagram if you have a younger demographic, in their 30s,
Mm-hmm.
I think is about a good spot for them. And you have a product or service, product mostly works better on Instagram than necessarily service. Service works a little better on Facebook. Doesn't mean you don't do it. You put your resources into Facebook, you maintain a presence on Instagram.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Very cool. So we've got Google, Facebook, and Instagram.
Now,
I think you're right. Probably the
yeah,
top.
TikTok is a much younger demographic.
Uh-huh.
And that tends to be even Instagram to a point, the world of influencers.
Yes.
So, and that's a whole different style of marketing.
Right.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And you got to be very creative.
Yeah.
So I usually don't recommend TikTok unless that's the direction you're going.
Sure. Unless that's your market, right?
Right.
Unless that's your market. Yeah, like the
I mean, if you're a plumber, I'm not so sure you need to be on TikTok.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
Unless you're doing it for fun.
Right. Right. And you want to grab a following and you want to be it. And then, but that becomes a growth of an influencer style than them growing your plumbing business per
Right.
se. Yeah. 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 So, what strategies should a startup use to gain organic growth in social media?
So hopefully they have some sort of natural market to begin with.
Okay. When you say natural market,
I'm going to explain that.
Yeah.
Okay. So if they've been personally on Facebook for some time, they probably have a list of friends and connections. They could start there. It is really difficult, if not next to impossible, in my opinion, if you do not have a personal social media presence on Facebook to do anything with Facebook. Because you've got to start somewhere and you got to get some momentum somewhere to get going. And if you've got 30 friends, people are not going to find you like they used to in the olden days.
Right. So, the algorithms.
So if you don't like social media, then don't even think about it because it's just not, because a lot of people, I want my business page, but I don't want it attached to my personal profile. And
right. They're very private.
And, yes. And so it's just not going to work. It's called social for a reason.
Right. They could do it. Right? They could just create, because I think does Facebook allow you just to create a business page now without having a personal profile attached to that? Is that true? I don't know if that's true or not.
That is not true.
That's not true. Okay.
That is not true. Not that I know of. I mean, that's not that I know of.
Okay.
You got to create it from something. You can't log into Facebook and just log into your business page.
Okay.
You have to log into now their business page is different than it used to be. Now the business page can interact with other businesses and for people.
Right.
Which is something people, should be doing.
Sure. Right. Very interesting.
You can do it that way, but
right. I mean, they could. So
you got groups. You can get active in Facebook groups that are of the demographics that allow you to do promotional things or get known personally in those groups. So that can kind of help, but you're fighting an uphill battle.
Right. It's just more challenging to do,
and it's going to take a lot longer.
Right, and a lot longer. Right. Yeah, they say you should always interact with your 1 and 2% degrees of circles relationships. Your 1% are all your friends and family, and then you ask them to share it with what is considered as a 2% or a 2-degree reaction, not reaction, but level, reach of having your friends and family share your stuff with others. So that helps with the engagement, and that's anything you do. I mean, that's anything you do. Very good. So this is going great. I am loving all the information that you're giving us. What about common mistakes or misconceptions? What can you tell us a little bit about that?
So there's a lot of myths uh, that are associated, with social media, and it's usually because people who are using it will give advice to people. And I'll hear these all the time. My favorite one is you have to be on TikTok. That's my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, people say that all the time. Oh, you have to be on TikTok because so and so's got X amount of followers and they're getting all this great reach and everything like that, but not knowing what it took to even get there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people, when it comes to how they post and do things on Facebook, you'll see this a lot. I call it post and run. You see it a lot in groups. They'll take a flyer that they have for their event or whatever, and they will just post it in the group. They don't say anything. They just let the flyer talk for itself.
Right.
Because they figure, this is the thinking, if they're really interested, they're going to just show up. Doesn't work that way.
No.
You will pique their interest.
Right.
And they'll stop and look at it.
Right.
But you haven't said anything to them.
Right. What is it? Yeah. Yeah.
That's like going to standing outside Walmart and just handing out flyers. Yeah. Remember they used to do that, or they put up the cars. Remember back in the day, there was one way to market. Right. Flyers and all this stuff on people's cars, and then you'd see them all over the ground because you just they don't know who you are. Right. They don't know if you're interested or not. Right. Right. So now you have to say something to let them know that this is what they're looking for. Right. 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 Or they'll just share it from their page. I belong to groups where they don't allow the sharing for that reason. You got to post it organically, because with the sharing, they just share it and don't say anything. Right. Right. Even if you're just repeating what you wrote below. Sure. It's something. Because some people may not even look below because you haven't caught their attention up here at the top. Right. Right. So go into more of this post and run. What else is there to know about this post and run? So another thing that I see happen in groups that I manage is they will post 2, 3, 4 posts, one right after the other. Mm-hmm. Now they might have different sales, different events coming up. So they have an event on Friday, they have an event on Saturday, they have an event on Sunday. They got a flyer for each one of them. They put them all out at the same time. Right. That does not work. Mm-hmm. Because Facebook is the algorithm is only going to pick up on one of them. Right. Then you're kind of perceived as being spammy. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when they do that, they don't say anything either. They're just sharing. Right. So I hate to say that it's laziness that does this. Uh-huh. But it pretty much is. Right. Because what they're doing is they're going in, because I only have so much time to do this. I just don't have time. So I got to go in. I got to post everything. I'm going to post everything in the groups. I'm going to do it all at once, and I'm going to get it off my plate. Right. Don't know about you, but that is not effective business thinking. No. But you're not posting in there just to post. You're posting in there because you want to get people to your business or you're an event. So you need to be effective at it. Right. What other strategy can they do to be effective at it? I mean, what comes to my mind is engaging on other people's posts. I mean, that's important, right? Yes. So that's another thing you don't see a whole lot of, especially in groups where they allow promotional posts. You don't see a whole lot of engagement. My personal group, I like it that way because I don't like to have to take people out because they don't know how to behave. Right. But in the groups where they are more conversational, yeah, that's how you get to know people. Right. So if somebody's sharing something positive, congratulate them on it. Right. No, but be sincere and be genuine. Right. And don't just say, yay, congratulations, and move on. People can feel the energy behind what you're saying. So they're going to know whether you're sincere or not. Right.
Well, I
Notice I
say
didn't use the
congratulations.
word authentic. I used sincere.
Authentic. Yes. Authentic and sincere. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, that's just so important because that goes into that building your know, like, and trust value in a social media digital platform. I mean, there's a lot of, I belong to a lot of social media groups that are for business women, business owners, what have you. And it's just a constant, I mean, it's just like a want ad, it's the old classified section of people selling their wares, but nobody's talking to each other. Nobody's getting to know each other. Nobody's doing that. And then I come along and I disrupt that whole entire group and I'm commenting on all these posts and trying to build people, and they're then turning around trying to sell me their services. And I'm like, no, I just want to be your friend.
Yeah, I've had that experience.
Network. I just want to be your friend. So unfortunately, it's a strategy that just doesn't, it's not a popular strategy, but gosh darn it, shouldn't it be? I mean, it really should be. It's so different than you going to a networking event and working the room and talking from people to people. I mean, you just don't stand there in the middle of the room with passing out flyers and not saying anything and not engaging, right? Or, I mean, expecting people to come up to you. That's not very successful.
But yeah, I don't know if you remember the day when after hours were popular ways to network.
Yes.
And there was a lot of people, they would just stand there.
Right. Just stand there. Yep.
And even in networking groups today, people think just because they belong that they're just going to get business by showing up.
Right. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work that way.
I like to refer people that I have a relationship with, or at least that I get to know somebody a little bit better than just the front facing facade of what I see,
Right.
what they're showing out. Right. My goodness. That goes back to my own webinar that I had not so long ago on networking. So, which is an episode on my podcast channel, so you can check that out. Actually, several episodes on my in my podcast channel.
It was actually a very good webinar. You did a great
job. Well, thank you. I wasn't saying that to get the plug, but thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. So as we get to look, as we look at wrapping up here shortly, what else do you want to share with the world about social media and our websites?
So you really need, like I said, okay, let's talk websites because we haven't talked websites.
Yeah, let's talk websites.
Let's talk website. So when you're just getting started, you have a choice. And depending on your budget, if you have one, which you should, you either build it yourself or you hire a professional.
Right.
Now, building it yourself, of course, it's less expensive. You can go to Wix or WordPress or even, gosh, GoDaddy. I think even Google. Don't use Google. That's really, really limited.
Canva now does that too. You can build it right on Canva.
Yeah, but you still have to have a place to host it.
Okay.
And domain name. So you're just building your files there. But the other ones are template based, drag and drop, things like that. Okay. So unless you know what makes good design for a website, it's probably not going to look very good. You're probably going to have big fonts and little fonts and colors because you think that's all eye-catching. You're going to have pictures that aren't formatted right, so they're blurry, or they're not cropped right, so they crop off things that you want to have there. It can get very frustrating just because you can't do what you want it to do. Right. You don't know what order to put the menu items. Your About You page is like a long biography of yourself that nobody's going to read. So is it even pertinent to what you want? So unless you take some classes, and there's free ones on them, right. And be willing to spend the hours and the frustration that you're probably going to experience trying to get it to do what you think you want it to do.
Right.
Or you can hire somebody who knows how to make the magic happen and make it look the way that you want it to look. And there are, inexpensive ways. You don't have to spend $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $10,000 on a website.
Right.
But for some people, $2,500 is like, oh my God,
still a lot.
Could have a heart attack.
Right.
But not if you're starting a business and you have you take into account for these things.
Right.
So you need to save up your money. I did it the hard way. I started a business with hardly any money.
Right. So Most people do.
I'll be honest, I didn't know. What did I know?
Right.
It was hard. You're fighting an uphill battle every day, day in and day out.
Right. 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 Eventually you'll get some money coming in, and but again, you got a budget and you got to figure out what your startup costs are. And I mean, should somebody launch without a website? I mean, what is your
It just,
opinion on this?
I don't usually recommend that.
Okay.
But there are people who they've just used social media, but you're only going to grow so much.
Right. So when you say they only use social media, so are you saying that people are using, let's say, a Facebook business page as their website while they're growing?
Well, I wouldn't say they use it as their website, but they use it for their marketing.
Right. So that's their only digital footprint.
Yep.
So if someone was to Google search them and it says go to their website points then to their Facebook page. I see that a lot.
Yep.
What is that? Is that strategy good?
No.
Indifferent? I mean,
No, it's not. But people do it because they have to, and it just
Right.
really depends on your goals. Now, if your business is more hobby based,
right.
And you're not, then maybe you
It's
don't
a
need
side
it.
hustle to you, right? It's a side
Yes.
hustle for you, and it's for fun, and you're there to help and make some money. Okay, fine. You may not invest in a $2,500 website.
I mean, when I started, did a life coaching business before this.
Mhm.
We did a website right off the bat
Yeah,
because, and social media was just becoming at that point.
right.
So, we started with podcasts. That's really where we started.
Yeah. We're still here.
Yeah. Yep.
We are still here. So, if somebody wanted to open up a new business, what are the 3 things they must do in terms of, I mean, I know we'd opened the show with this a little bit, but I want to recap a little bit because we've been we were all over the place, which is great. But I want to recap. For someone who's opening up a new business, what are the top things that they must do?
You have to plan. You have to have a plan. You have to have a strategy, and then you have to implement it. And a lot of people fall down on the implementation part because it's not easy. None of this is easy.
No, none of it is easy.
If you're starting a business and thinking any of this is easy,
Right.
you gotta, it is not for the faint of heart.
No, right.
You really have to have some stick-to-itiveness to it.
Right.
And you have to be willing to go through some growing pains. So you want to do your business plan, you want to do your marketing plan, and you want to make sure you got the money behind you to do those things.
Right. And if somebody's sitting here listening to this going, well, I can get the marketing plan, I can get the budget done, but I just don't have the money right now. What advice would you offer them?
That's really hard to do because it really depends on the business.
Okay.
Okay. But I would probably break it down to find out where they think they're going to get their sales. Where are they going to get their money? Because now you got to make money to reinvest back into the business.
Right.
And then we'd have to backtrack and start there and then try to figure out some sort of plan or direction to go from where they think they're going to get their sales.
Okay.
They have no idea where they're going to get their sales. They really need to rethink everything.
Right. They need to see me first.
Exactly. Miles, exactly.
Yes. Exactly. Cool. Very cool. How can people work with you if they choose to?
So I have 2 parts to my business. The What's Up Southwest Florida side is the done for you. We'll do your website for you. We'll do your email marketing for you. We will do your social media for you. We even do some video stuff if that's needed. So we will do it for you. The Teach Me Social side is for those that are needing to do it themselves, but need some direction.
Right. Okay.
And so I have training where I can train you, like if you want to learn how to use Canva or CapCut, things like that. So there's training. There's the coaching side where we sit down and we work on your marketing plan. We work on how you're going to implement it. I'm right there beside you to make sure that you're implementing it the way you're supposed to. So there's that. And then there's I have some courses for those that want to learn on their own. I've got free webinars. I have an email training program. where I work with you on how to do your own email marketing, including your topics and all that kind of stuff. And I have a workbook.
Oh,
I have a
workbook.
workbook, darling.
All
Yes,
right.
darling, I got a
Oh,
workbook.
darling. Talk to me about the workbook. Talk.
So it's for those that are doing their own social media, but they've never sat down to plan or strategize any of it.
Okay.
So it will walk you through a 90-day plan, how to
Hmm.
create a 90-day plan. I don't recommend you do all 90 days at once
No.
because it is over 200 pages. You'll be sitting there for hours and not get anything done. So what I do recommend is you do the first part where you identify your target audience and your goals and your content topics and stuff.
Right.
And then start with a week at a time. Do 1 week, see how you do,
Mm-hmm.
and then keep adding to it, and then reevaluate after 30 days, and then do your next 30 days because it breaks it down day, week, month.
I love it. And for everyone listening, we're going to definitely get all of Mary Anne's contacts into the show notes. We'll get to the links. Listen, you can. I highly recommend you sign up for her newsletter because her webinars are free every month and are such wonderful, wonderful information, and she teaches you to do stuff. I mean, she teaches you how to do these things in the social media world and marketing world, and they're just amazing, and they're a lot of fun. And
You do them a little different. Like the first 30 minutes is the educational part,
yeah,
which I record.
yeah,
The second part is coaching. No,
yeah,
kind of coaching. So I individualize it, answer your questions, give you whatever as it relates to the topic,
wow,
what it is you can do to implement this stuff.
uh-huh.
And so it's a little bit of a little mini group coaching kind of.
I love it. All for free.
For about 15, 20 minutes. And then the rest of it is telling you all about my wonderful products and services.
I love it. I love it. Now you have a promotion going on with your workbook that includes some coaching, correct?
Yes, I do.
So tell us a little bit about that before we get ready to sign off.
Okay, so what this is, it includes the workbook, and it also includes after you complete the 30-day part of the program, we get together for about an hour, and I review everything you did. We do any tweaking that needs to be tweaking, any coaching on how to implement any of this. So you're on the right track, kind of thing. So, because sometimes you don't know, is this really good content? I might look at it and go, yes, but this would be better, based on what you tell me you want to do.
Uh-huh.
Because that's what it's about. It's about achieving those goals.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, this has been, I mean, you and I could talk all day. We know that.
Yes, we could. And we have.
And we have. But I just want to say thank you so much. This has been great. I'm so glad that you were able to join me on my show today. And I know that we spoke a lot about different things, but really it comes down to having a marketing plan, having a budget, and knowing what that budget looks like. And we didn't go into any strategies outside of that, but this was fantastic.
Well, perhaps we can do one on a strategy another time.
Yes, we absolutely can and should and will. So listen, Mary Anne from What's Up Southwest Florida, giving you a voice
in
Southwest Florida. And that's a wrap for another episode of Open for Business CEO Style. We hope you've been inspired, motivated, and ready to conquer the business world. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity, and every dream is a business waiting to happen. If you love this episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode packed with business brilliance. And while you're at it, give us a like, a share, and leave a comment. Your support means the world to me. Join my community of CEOs on Facebook and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep hustling, keep shining, and remember, you got this, girlfriend.